I love this series, and it's kind of disappointed that we only got a month worth of content left of the Dr. Stone greatness, but episodes like these makes the journey so worth it. The series is always enjoyable, but there's special moments that really bring a smile to your face and feel like you're Senku's father, you're proud of what he achieved, but then you feel like Senku, proud of what his village is achieving even without his guidance. It's like, these are the kinds of episodes that I would want to show someone who's never seen Dr. Stone. They really wanted me to sell them on this series. I give them a bit of background on the whole idea that the world kind of got frozen over. Some people woke back up thousands of years and others were born into this world with no knowledge of modern technology. I'd show them episode 20 and they'd probably be like, alright, we gotta start from episode 1, let's do this. Because that's how good this episode was. Or at least that's how I'm currently feeling, because goddamn was this a great episode of Dr. Stone. I just love Senku so much. He's easily one of my favorite characters of this year. Just the whole idea that, did he need to make cotton candy first? He says it's a way to test it to make sure, because it's an easy thing. If the sugar crystals fail, it's not a big deal. And yeah, sure, but at the end of the day, the reason he didn't just jump to his wire machine is because these are characters who have never had candy. And even though cotton candy is bottom of the barrel, yeah, it can taste fine, but there's so much more complex and sweeter candies out there. But, similar to the ramen, if they've never had more modern food, it's going to be a feast for them. And that's super sweet. I really like those moments with Senki where, Gen's kind of thinking like, what the hell's this guy? Of course, we gotta make the cotton candy first, right? It's like, those are little moments. He uses these characters as test subjects from time to time, sure, and he does have his mad scientist look. We all recognize this, we all see it. We all know how crazy Senku can get, but it's those moments that really flexes who he is. He's someone who loves humanity, and he loves science, and sometimes science will lead you to make cotton candy for your fellow people. And it's like, that's the type of stuff you love. I saw a lot of people kind of humming and hawing about the whole idea of a communication device, and it absolutely is possible. I mean, it kind of kicks off the episode kind of being like, hey, this can't be done, and then of course, Senki's gonna break it down, being like, you just gotta follow the blueprints, it's all going to lead up to somewhere. And it was interesting, because actually one of the things I was kind of questioning the most, I was like, I wonder how they're going to make the wires and things like that. Obviously, it's not impossible to do, but I was wondering, like, what they would make to get to that step. And I thought it was actually pretty cool that they used the cotton candy machine. They made something that could make cotton candy, or could make wires. And it was just super fun watching all the little things build up, because the majority of the episode was just building sweets, making everyone in their village quite happy, feeling as if they were like, this guy has to be a wizard, like my mouth is melting because of the sweet delight that is pure sugar, right? But you're just watching all these like little moments build up, and then, of course, Senku's not gonna be an idiot. He knows there's a spy out there. And the fact that he gave her cotton candy, it's like, it's such a Senku move. There's no way that this devoted follower to her leader, her idol, her everything, as basically as Gen is putting it, would jump to a different team just because of cotton candy. But it doesn't mean other people wouldn't should Tsukasa hear about it, right? And I just love those little moments because it's like, the spy's not going anywhere. She probably hasn't had cotton candy for a long time. Let's give her some cotton candy. If anything, it will just make her not kill them in their sleep, probably. If she had a nice snack as she's watching from a distance, right? It's like, those are the little moments that really shine Dr. Stone into such a wholesome series, even though we're building up for all-out war, right? But it's so great because, like, I know a lot of people are like, oh god, what's gonna happen to Taiju and, like, all these characters, like, they're gonna be spies, but no, they're fine. Even if, like, Tsukasa was to attack them, they're valuable hostages, right? I love how, like, within a matter of an episode, they'll introduce these ideas. There were so many people last week being like, communication device can't happen, what's gonna happen to our characters? And then within like 3 minutes, they basically shut it all down and said, hey, just have some patience, we're gonna explain everything. This is Dr. Stone, we have a roadmap for a reason, and that roadmap is going to lead this series into ultimate success. This episode was definitely one of the most fun I've had in quite some time over the past few seasons, honestly. It was just a pure blissful feeling of like, I wasn't stressed, I wasn't worried. It almost just felt like as soon as the episode kicked off, Senkuu just calmed everyone's nerves, being like, it's gonna be a while. They're gonna wait till after winter's done because they have the revival fluid, so they're going to build up their army, and Senku's gonna build up his technology. And should they be able to make communication before that attack, they're going to win because communication is the key to survival and winning a battle in pretty much any time period. And like, that's so amazing. But the most amazing part of the entire episode was seeing what Chrome did. He got the idea from Senkuu after seeing what a gear was. And then he takes his new best friend, old man kind of maker, and just creates a water wheel. Something Senkuu would have done eventually, but he didn't even tell him. Chrome came up with that all by himself. That's amazing, and it really highlights episodes back when Senkuu was trying to originally say, hey, if I don't make it back alive, you can replace me, and he shuts that shit down saying, no, if I'm your replacement, you will be okay if you do die. But it does flexes why characters like Senkuu would want to trust in him, because he has the curiosity that has let humanity evolve to the point that it currently has. And it's like, that's amazing. No longer are they going to have to rely on manpower for a lot of things. They'll now be able to use water wheels, electricity, like hydroelectrics. It's like they just did so much. And it wasn't even just because of Senkuu. It was because of just a curious mind who used to collect rocks and what looked cool, and now look what he did with the help and guidance of his mentor and probably his best friend at this point in time. It's like, that's why Dr. Stone is so damn great. And this was a funny episode. I mean, there was plenty of times where Ken would be popping up being like, the IQ of everyone talking here just significantly dropped. Or just all the funny faces. I mean, one of my favorites, easily one of my favorites, is when you have ex-village chief being like, oh, you're gonna use the shield that I gave to my daughter as a reward for myself, and she loves it, but... And he starts getting a little embarrassed. He's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, even though it's not that important to me, my precious daughter would never want to give it up. And then you just see her start bashing holes into it, not even taking into consideration her father's feelings. Amazing. That's the type of stuff that, even though it has a lot of sweet moments, even though it has a lot of emotional moments, sometimes it's good to just have characters rubbing salt into their loved ones' wounds, because they don't even realize they're hurting them, but for the viewer, we're like, oh man, even if we don't like this character all that much, did he really deserve that? Absolutely not. I'm just really impressed by how fast they make things in this world, but not have it feel like it took, a short amount of time. We clearly got a montage of seeing them build up the wire. That was days, if not weeks. But of course, we didn't need to see them do the same task over and over and over and over again. We can see it a couple of times and get the picture, and we can kind of speed by doing a montage, watching them build the logs and things like that they're going to have for their tower and whatnot. And obviously, I'm sure some people would want to see maybe more into the technicalities, but I think they give you a very good idea of what's happening, how it's happening, a good understanding of how they got there, and then you can focus on the most important thing, the characters, their moments, both their humorous and dramatic, and the more scientific as well. This series just knows exactly what it's doing, and I'm damn confident it's getting a season 2 at the very least, if not more. I think this series is going to be one of those anime that with each season is going to get progressively better, because the more we understand these characters, the more they're going to understand Senkuu, and in return, we're going to get more moments where people like Chrome can do things without Senkuu saying, this is what's the next step. They'll actually be able to tell him what's the next step, and he's just going to be like a proud father being like, God damn, you know what you're doing. But of course, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. We are going to have those dramatic moments, and I definitely think we're going to get some sooner rather than later. I don't know if we'll get it in this season or not, or even if we'll get to spring before the season wraps up, but I do feel like each episode is this rewarding adventure, whether we're sweating bullets or we're just smiling and giggling like a little schoolgirl being like, this is what we want to see from our precious Dr. Stone. I love this series. I truly, truly do. It's probably top 5 of the year for me. That's how much I love this series. The characters just continue to impress me, and I didn't know how much I wanted to see a character like Chrome really prove himself, but I'm so glad they surprised me with it. I honestly thought he was going to build something that Senkuu either already had built or it wouldn't be all that important. And then they're like, no, he's not an idiot. He's not just a tag-along object. Senkuu values him because he has an intelligent mind. And what they just did, it flexes that. It's incredible to see how far they've come, but how much further they still have left to go. But at this point, even if you might have had doubts in the intro of the anime, do you really doubt they can't get to space anymore? Absolutely not. Obviously, that will be the end goal, and they'll need a lot of intelligent people to get there. But you do feel like if anyone could bring back humanity as a whole, bring back modern technology, it's gonna be Senkuu, but of course, it's gonna be the other characters who learn along the way, who will aid him, because it's not like Senkuu can do this by himself. He's not just luring people in as like lab rats. He does treat them as lab rats from time to time, let's not get it mistaken. But at the end of the day, he cares about people, and just making cotton candy when he could have just started up on the wire if he really wanted to. Even though it is a precious mineral, I'm sure, had he not give a damn about these characters, he would have just jumped straight to it, or only made one thing of cotton candy and then said, oh, it works, let's move on. He cares about people, and it shows in episodes like these. What did everyone think of one of the most enjoyable episodes of Dr. Stone, I have to say? But of course, if you have a different opinion, let me know down in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy, be sure to drop a like and also hit that subscribe button if you have been new. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.